On January 27th, up with my friends Christian and Denise, and we talked a lot about books, K-pop, family, work, over dinner, and while visiting bookstores. My friend Denise gave this to me for a Christmas gift. Sorry. For a Christmas gift, and I just love how personal she is always when she gives gifts to us. She also does letterings and collages, so make sure you visit her link. Visit her Instagram for inspiration and give her support. And look at this, it's so beautiful. When I opened the gift, the wrapper, I was surprised because life-giving art is my goal or that's what I aim to do always when I create art, because it's supposed to be life-giving. So it's an act of creation. It's really special, and it even came with this small easel. So thank you, Denise. I always appreciate your gifts. They're always full of heart and sincerity, and I hope I could also create some gifts like this, like you do. So thank you. Oh, and also, she gave me this. It's hers, but then she decided to give it to me. So thank you so much, Denise. You are a book and art and dream enabler, and I hope to be like you too, to be able to enable other people and empower them, share things that resonate with them. So thank you so much, Denise. Uppercase is it's actually my first time to hear about it. It's for the creative and curious, and I have exactly what it takes. It's a special feature, illustration talent. So it has some very inspiring stuff. There's content on art and design, craft, fine print, miscellaneous, style. They also featured new illustrators. Their Uppercase magazine. Uppercase publishes books and magazines for the creative and curious. Products that spark the imagination and inspire creativity. On first glance, I really love it. Love the paper, love the design, the layout. This is in my to-read list. Oh, and this one too. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And of course I'm gonna look at these other books as well. Anyway, I'm gonna go just skim through it first, because I'm gonna go home today to the province, and I have such an artsy companion with me. Thank you, Denise. You're so special. Thank you so much. I have 4 guests with me today, and I'm gonna talk about, okay, they're not really guests, but I can say they're guests. So for this vlog, I'm going to share the books that I'm currently reading, and I'll start with The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, I have a funny story about this, because I asked my cousin, do you have any books about business that you'd like to recommend, because I'm planning to start my career as an illustrator and writer very soon. And my cousin said, knowing how I am, he said that maybe I should start with personal growth books first before I delve into business books. He has a point. I should start first about personal growth before I begin reading about business, about art, and all those other topics related to my career. Because It's very important to set my foundation first as a person, like what are my principles, what are my values, so that whatever I do in my business or in my career as an artist reflects what I believe in, reflects what my values are and what my principles are. So I decided to start first by reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So actually I have a funny story about this, because my cousin and I, the same person that I was referring to earlier, we were at Barnes and Noble and we were looking for this book from the shelves, but we couldn't find it. So I approached one of the ladies, one of the staff of Barnes and Noble, and asked about this. Then she said, I'm gonna go check at the front. So my cousin and I waited for her, and when she came back, she handed me this copy, which is the 25th anniversary edition. And then she said that this was the only one in stock and they still have more coming, I think. And then she said that she's going to check something in the computer, so I followed her. And the next thing is that while she was checking the database, she said that, oh, we do have 7 habits for highly effective teens. And then, no, this is actually the book I'm looking for. So when I came back to I said thank you to her, and then I came back to my cousin, and he was laughing because he heard the conversation that we had, and he said, do you know why she said that to you, 7 habits of highly effective teens? Because of your body language, the way you dress. People still mistake you for a child or a teenager. And that was funny because, well, then here I am. I'm reading something that will help me from being dependent to independent to interdependent. Actually, I'm still in chapter 1 because I told myself that the way I'm going to read this book is that I'm going to see first if I can apply all these things I've learned. Like, for example, I'm actually still in habit 1. I started this in December, and right now I still haven't moved on to the succeeding chapters because sometimes I still find myself reactive, meaning sometimes my actions are based mostly on what I'm feeling or on my circumstances, instead of using my free will to choose how I can respond to a particular event or situation. So when I check myself and see that I'm being more proactive now instead of being reactive, and I'm practicing my ability of free will to choose how I can respond to a situation, then that's the time I know I can move on to the second habit. So that's how I read this book. So the second book I'm going to share is, I don't usually read this amount of books at a given time, but since my reading for them is kind of separate, like for 7 habits, I read it when I'm ready for the next chapter. Well, this one, The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin, is actually divided into 12 chapters. There are different topics for each of the months, so like I'm planning to read only the January chapter on January, the February chapter on February, so it'll be a year-long reading of The Happiness Project. So yeah, for January, actually, the author touches on boosting our energy. And it's right that it's the start of the year. Usually, we have to have our energies up. Even in the morning, every day, our energies have to be up. Because we don't want to start our day gloomy and sad. Yeah, that's how I plan to read this book. And I'm almost done with January since it's almost February soon. It's almost February! Okay, so the third book is something that's really, really helpful and offers practical tips if you're an artist in the making, if you've just started your career as an artist, or you already have control of the reins and you want to know more about what other things you can do to boost your career. I give you Lisa Congdon's Art Incorporated. So it's the essential guide for building your career as an artist. Oh yeah, and it offers a lot of tips and advices and how you can boost your career as an artist. But it starts first with the first chapter of course, setting the foundation, of accepting the belief that, yes, I am an artist, that you are an artist, and really getting that mindset that I'm not a starving artist. Artists can thrive right now in the modern world. Lisa Congdon teaches a lot of things. She shares a lot of the things that she learned in her career as an artist, and there are some interviews here as well. In each chapter, artists give tips, they give some brief history about their business, how they started, what did they do to market their work. I really, really love this book, and I can't recommend it more. I'm only in chapter 4, so if you are starting your career as an artist, find this book. Okay, and lastly, well, because Disney is releasing the movie adaptation of Madeleine L'Engle's A Wrinkle in Time soon in March, I'm planning to reread A Wrinkle in Time. And I knew about this book because of K-Zone. Did you used to read K-Zone before? So we were, as elementary school kids, we were very excited whenever we would find K-Zone in the magazine stands and bookstores. So there's a part in K-Zone where there are book recommendations, and A Wrinkle in Time is one of them. I bought this from Fully Booked. It's the trilogy, but there are actually 2 more books. I read A Wrinkle in Time when I was in high school, and I never got to read A Wind in the Door and A Swiftly Tilting Planet. So probably around March I can get around reading those 2 books. But for now, I'm gonna reread A Wrinkle in Time. Basically, A Wrinkle in Time is a tesseract. I just love the science fiction in this, in A Wrinkle in Time, and I love the stories. I love the lesson about it, about light and darkness, about family, about belief in oneself. So yeah, before the movie comes out, I hope to refresh myself with A Wrinkle in Time. And oh yeah, Madeleine L'Engle is one of my favorite authors ever. This was because of a friend of mine, Ate Kathy. I found out about Madeleine L'Engle's other books through her because she used to post a lot of excerpts and quotes from her books, and then I found out, wow, she has there's a lot more selections actually of Madeleine L'Engle's works. I've read the first book of her Crossworks journal, A Circle of Quiet, and also her first and second book of the Austen Family Chronicles. I highly recommend Madeleine L'Engle's books. When she writes, she has a lot of conviction. She touches on topics that we usually get scared of. So yeah, those are the 4 books that I'm currently reading. How about you? What are the books that you're currently reading? Or have you read these books that I've mentioned? Feel free to share about what you think of them in the comments below. I'd love to read your thoughts about these books as well. It's fun to talk about books. Do you have any book recommendations as well? Especially from these authors that I mentioned, I'd love to hear them so that other people can see these recommendations as well. So that's it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching, and well, happy February! Goodbye! Here it is. It is my digital print of my work, Ang Mamumundok at Ang Mahumanay, for our exhibit with the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, and ang Ilustrador ng Kabataan.